My old company treated us like slaves, so I quit in anger. A week later, my ex-boss was mopping my floors at home. "Hey honey, you're finally back," he said. "Me? Who are you calling honey? How did you get in here?" I asked. "Honey, you're joking, right? By the way, why is the door lock code my birthday? That's not safe." "Change it," he suggested. "Ha. The code is my celeb crush's birthday. What does that have to do with you?" I replied. "How did you even get in here?" I demanded. "Jason isn't my boss anymore, so I don't have to be polite." "I walked in," said Jason, looking all helpless. His model-level face had this pitiful expression. Ugh, who feels sorry for him anyways? I haven't forgotten all the times he made my life hell. He'd wake me up at 3 a.m. to deliver files. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. "Get out!" I yelled. "What? You're kicking me out, honey?" Jason looked all innocent, widening his eyes. I nearly laughed out of frustration. "Are you crazy? Who's your wife? I'm not indebted to you, capitalist pig. So I said a few bad things about you before quitting. Does that justify coming over and pretending I'm your wife?" Jason raised his hands, surrendering. "All right, I get why you're mad." Mad? I was completely shocked. My ex-boss shows up at my place, calling me his wife. Is he nuts? I was about to lose it when Jason smiled that I didn't hand over this month's earnings. "That's my bad." He pulled out a card. "Jason, this isn't necessary," I said, racking my brain. All I did was gossip a bit. It's not like I offended him seriously. Why is he here acting insane? Trying to prank me? His face darkened. "Honey, are you upset? Is it not enough? I earned $5 million this month." I was speechless. Jason, this jerk, must be messing with me. But two can play that game. "Jason, if you don't leave now, I'm calling the cops." Before I finished, Jason pulled out a red booklet. He smiled and gestured for me to take a look. Reluctant but curious, I peeked. Property certificate? My pupils dilated. I realized Jason bought the apartment I'd been renting. He wanted me homeless. I imagined myself dragging luggage away, Jason mocking from the balcony. This was cold, premeditated revenge. I nearly cried but held it together. I was ready to fight this out, but Jason handed me the property certificate. "Honey, from now on, this is our home." I was stunned. His sincere eyes, once icy, now radiated warmth. I felt an unexpected closeness. Oh God, what's happening? Panicked, I ran outside. Luckily, Jason didn't follow when I left the complex. I planned to ask my old friends about this jerk. But no one was reachable. One message sent, then blocked. They deleted me. Fortunately, my best friend reached out. I told her everything. Shocked, she wondered if my boss had a crush on me. I denied it. Him pursuing me? No way. Not with a dating style that involved non-stop overtime and 3 a.m. document requests. After she heard me out, she got serious. "Hey, I know of a job that offers room and board. Wanna go?" Definitely. With Jason owning my place, I was worried about housing. I was going to pack up and move. As I headed back, I got a message, a voice note from the jerk himself. Yeah, Jason earned that nickname in my contacts. What's he want? To rush me for packing up? No way, he jokes forever. A message played that I made dumplings. Bring some vinegar back, we're out. I paused, oddly warmed by the thought. Felt like home somehow. And his voice, deep, magnetic, yet soothing. Stop. What was I thinking? I mean, I'd been solo for ages, but not that desperate for affection. That's Jason. The ex-boss who milked me dry, and now, he's the fool playing nice. Making dumplings, asking for vinegar, acting the perfect husband. Game on, Jason. I resolved to expose his game instantly. Then at a small store downstairs, I hesitated, recalling his words. Dumplings. Wow, I haven't had those in ages. Swayed, I bought the vinegar and headed back. Inside, Jason greeted me cheerfully. Where'd you go? Ignoring him, I set the vinegar down. He saw it and grinned even more. I'm cooking now. Watch some TV, they'll be ready soon. Tight-lipped, I watched his homely silhouette. A surprising warmth pulsed in my chest. What was happening? Steeling myself, I headed to the kitchen, giving Jason one last chance before breaking his act. But entering, shock struck again. Not just good at cooking, Jason knew I disliked plain dumplings, so he made soup ones. With cilantro only, no onions. How does he know me so well? He really reminds me of my husband. Ugh. Just kidding. He must have picked this up from someone else to mess with me. To avoid getting caught up in his nonsense, I decided to finish this quickly. Thinking about it, I just came out with it. Jason, I admit it. Before I quit, I badmouthed you to my colleagues. That was wrong of me. Can you forgive me? Let's just end it here. Sorry. Let's see if groveling a little helps. After all, if Jason dares to pretend to be my husband, there's nothing this jerk can't do. I can't mess with someone who's super sly, bears humiliation, and is loaded. So please, I'm begging him to just let it go. I'm single and unmarried, and he keeps calling me wife every day. How the heck am I supposed to get married? Could this be his way of getting back at me? Wife, you really get me. Jason looked at me, and his smug little face looked so innocent and pitiful. Me? I give up. Jason's just having a blast with this. Fine, if he doesn't even want his last chance. I'll just have to go all in. Once I play my trump card, let's see if he can keep up the act. With that, I didn't hold back, finished my dumplings. Then pushed the bowl away. Jason actually got up and did the dishes without a word. I watched his back, speechless. No doubt he's boss material. Maximum endurance. But the thought of him losing it soon had me looking forward to the show. Jason finished the dishes and saw me grinning at him. What's up? Am I looking extra handsome today? He tossed the apron aside, standing tall in front of me. His outstanding features looked absolutely pleased with himself. I was stunned. He wasn't this slick back at the office. Huh, you think you're the only one who can be slick? I mimicked a voice and said, Jason, if you're my husband, shouldn't you show it? Am I not doing enough? Nowhere near enough. I've had my fill of dumplings, and now I want a handbag. You're buying? 50 grand, Hermes. Gonna buy it or not? If not, stop calling yourself my husband. I looked at him confidently. Yep, this is my ace in the hole. After all, Jason's super thrifty with himself. He even compares prices when I book a restaurant. No way he'd agree to buying a $50,000 Hermes bag. Even for a real wife, he'd run away overnight. I was just waiting for him to lose it. But Jason didn't say a word, just made a phone call. Mike, get me the latest Hermes collection from the boutique. Send them to my place, I'll send you the location. My expression changed, I gasped. He hung up, and I stared at him in disbelief. He stared back, looking shocked, then confused, and finally a bit scared. After a moment, he asked me in a shaky voice, Wife, are you seriously sick? You're the one that's sick. I roared silently, and stop calling me your wife. Was Jason cursing me? He grabbed me in a hug, voice trembling, really? I could feel his arms shaking. I've completely confused him. What kind of performance is this? After a moment, his deep voice was a bit raspy, you never buy yourself anything, and suddenly you do. It scared me. I was speechless. Dang, how did he know I didn't even buy myself a canvas bag? Did he bug my house? Forget it, even if my behavior's extra weird, if you want Hermes, I'll buy out the entire boutique for you. I was about to curse him out, but him saying he'd buy the whole boutique shut me up, scared me into hiccups. Jason, stop fooling with me, what are you playing at? Wife, I'm not playing. As long as you don't reject me, I'll do whatever you want. He held me so tight I couldn't get loose. The words stuck in my throat. I noticed Jason's eyes glistening. Oh my God, is he actually crying? What an actor. Even knowing he's acting, I found myself touched. But Jason, seriously, I'm not your wife. I was just your poor little assistant you messed with. I completely conceded to Jason. No way am I exposing him. Jason, you win. I gave up. Jason excitedly watched me, mixed feelings in his eyes. Whatever he felt, I was determined to go to my room and pack. A friend had set me up with a new job that had a dorm room I could move into tonight. When I rolled my suitcase to the door, Jason was wiping down the furniture. He cut quite a striking figure. None of his usual office aloofness. Oh my God, he really is into this role. The sound of the suitcase wheels got his attention. He immediately turned around. Seeing me with my suitcase, panic flickered in his eyes. Wife, going somewhere far? The Hermes will be here soon. I rolled my eyes in exasperation. Even if his acting's good, I'm not falling for it that easy. Doesn't he get tired? Jason, stop pretending, I'm leaving, and won't be back. Goodbye. I waved my hand, intending it to be a final farewell. But then, thunk, Jason kneeled before me. My pupils contracted in shock. Jason. The arrogant Jason. He's usually surrounded by people. If he drops a document, he doesn't even bend to pick it up. So what's this? He's kneeling to me? If his acting's this good, why not just go to Hollywood? All this effort, just to prank me. Is it worth it? Is it necessary? I wondered. Jason held onto my sleeve, face looking so pathetic. Wife, are you upset with me? How about I kneel on a durian? Where's the high-end mighty Jason? Are you really Jason? I blurted out, staring at that familiar face. Jason's charming face froze for a moment. Honey, what's up with you today? Are you mad at me for not spending enough time with you? Is that why you're pretending not to recognize me? Ugh, he's so cheesy. Silently, I picked up my suitcase. I'm leaving, goodbye forever. Honey. Jason got up and blocked my way with his long legs. In the next second, he hugged me without asking. His arms tightened around me, pressing us close together. My mind went blank for a second. I caught a whiff of his clean scent, and it was kinda nice for a split second. His grip was just right, tight enough but not suffocating. It felt comforting. But then I snapped back to reality. All those feelings were instantly overshadowed by anger. Jason, if you're acting, you're not supposed to take advantage of it. I wanted to slap him, figuratively, but I found I couldn't move. Jason held me like he was upset. But then he suddenly brightened up like he'd just solved a puzzle. Honey, I know why you're mad. What? I've been so busy lately, I've been ignoring our married life. You must be upset with me. Ah. I nearly screamed like a banshee. Please, let's not talk about this. I was cringing so hard my skin was crawling. Who wants to talk married life with their ex-boss anyway? What's wrong, honey? Did I hit the nail on the head? Jason touched his nose with that familiar teasing look. How about we make up for it now? Before I could react, he picked me up. Don't touch me. I freaked out, trying to pull my collar closed. Turns out, this was his goal all along. Jason smiled at me warmly. Okay, honey, I'll be gentle. I stared at him, stunned, as he carried me into the bedroom and placed me on the bed. As soon as my back hit the sheets, panic set in. Jason's strong and fit, I can't take him down. When being tough isn't enough, go for the knee, right? Just as I was getting ready to fight back, I felt a strange relief shoot through my spine. Jason's deep voice whispered in my ear, "Is the pressure all right?" Was he giving me a massage? And he was quite good at it. Oh, my voice trembled. I was somehow enjoying it. Like this spot? He pressed harder. I do, I admitted, feeling good. Oh, wait. What was I saying? Hold on. Is this what he calls married life? Cooking, chores, and massages? What do you really want, Jason? I want you happy, he said, his voice calm and soothing. BS. I haven't forgotten how you tormented me at work. No way I'd torture you, Jason replied, sounding genuinely hurt. Really? He feels wronged? Ridiculous. I sat up right away, ready to confront him. You nitpicked every task I did. Did I? Jason appeared puzzled for a moment. That I wanted you to grow and excel because you love the work. If I hurt you, that's on me. What? Are you kidding me? I did get better at my job super fast under his watch, but still. And there was more. You criticized me over a damn cup of coffee. Hot, cold, weak, strong. Who puts up with a boss like that? Should have thrown it in your face. As I fumed, Jason took my hands and said softly, I just wanted an excuse to spend more time with you. Since you started at the company, you haven't paid much attention to me. I was dumbfounded. His words made something inside me soften for a brief second. No, wait. He just led me off course again. Who's his wife, anyway? I took a deep breath and looked him in the eye. Jason, did you go through something? Maybe you hit your head or something? Seriously, we didn't know each other before I started at his company. I wasn't there to care for him. Who's got time for that without pay? Wait a minute, what if there's something wrong with his mind? An injury, maybe amnesia, or regression. After all, as his personal assistant for 3 years, I did manage part of his personal life, too. It kinda amounted to being like a wife. Maybe he was confused. So, you didn't hit your head recently? I probed. Nope, Jason replied, looking puzzled. Really? I wasn't sure. I scanned him with disbelief. So, your parents good? Your cousin who got married last year, did she have a baby? Here's a puzzle. How do you arrange 24 people in rows of 5 to get 6 rows? I looked at Jason, all deadpan. He looked confused, like he didn't know. I knew it. Something's off with his brain. I stared, trying not to freak out. As I pieced things together, Jason chimed in calmly. My parents are fine, I just called them last night. They miss you. My cousin had a baby girl, 7 pounds. And the puzzle? Easy, a hexagon. I was stunned. Jason's mind was sharp as ever. Yet, I just had a gut feeling things were off. Raising my gaze, I felt his intense stare on me. Face flushed, I quickly stood to adjust my clothes. Honey, still shy as ever, Jason laughed softly, teasingly, asking all those questions. Are we trying out a new game? What? Hand over my chest, I stared at him openly flirting, feeling oddly interested. Is something wrong with me? Or was Jason just so good looking that I let my guard down? Michelle, oh Michelle, have you forgotten how that jerk tormented you? How can you fall for his sweet talk again? This could get really dangerous. Jason isn't dumb, so it's pretty clear what he's after. Oh boy, I can't believe it. He must be trying to trick me into going back to work for him. Yeah, I heard ever since I left, he's been in a bad mood, and the new hires can't handle him. Well, Jason, don't think you can fool me again. I know what you're up to, but give it up. I've already joined another company and I won't be working for you anymore. As I buttoned up my coat, I said hastily, a new job? Really? We have our own company, so why work somewhere else? Jason looked all confused, holding my arm, sounding a bit pleading, honey, I can't stand you working for someone else. I just stared at him quietly, letting him ramble on. Then suddenly, he hugged me from behind. How about we switch? You be the boss. His words completely took me aback and I temporarily forgot he was still holding me. You be my boss. Shut the door and I'll make you coffee, rub your legs, whatever you want. That was it. I'd had enough. I yelled, get off me. Clearly, he was messing with me. Jason looked super pitiful. Honey, why do you have to leave me and work for someone else? I sighed. So this is where he's been leading me all along. Pulling away from Jason, I spoke seriously, because money. They're offering me $20,000 a month. As soon as I said that, Jason blew up. Are you crazy, leaving your husband for a mere $20,000 to work for someone else? With this shocked and frustrated look, he pulled out a stack of cards from his pocket and stuffed them into my hand. These are limited edition global gold cards. Spend as you wish. My woman should never say she's broke. And you can come back, and I'll up your salary tenfold. Whoa. Shock doesn't even cover it. I stood there, jaw practically on the floor, speechless. Then a knock on the door snapped me out of it. Jason, sir, it's Mike. I've brought the bags you asked for. Bags? At this hour? This is ridiculous. I went to open the door, thinking I'd snag a couple for myself. But nope, there was no smell of pastries. Just a polite man smiling at me. Hello, I'm Mike from Hermes. What the heck? Hermes? Then Mike, along with some people in sharp suits and white gloves, all slicked up, entered. Each person had a fancy box. They were all branded with the Hermes logo. I was standing there dumbfounded, watching them open one box after another, revealing various bags. One of them I had seen online, $70,000. And it wasn't even the most expensive one. Suddenly, I felt a bit wobbly. I was overcome with a sense of being surrounded by wealth. After they left everything and apologized to Jason, Mike said, Sorry, Jason, given the short notice, this is all we could get. If ma'am isn't satisfied, I can get her details and reach out when more stock comes in. Wait, what? He kept glancing at me when he sighed. Ma'am. Satisfied? Was he really asking me if these were all mine? Just then, Jason spoke confidently. What's mine is yours. If she wants it, it's hers. Hearing this, my brain short-circuited. My heart was pounding. Maybe it was from counting all that money in my head. Or maybe it was because no one's ever been this generous with me before. I waved it off, wanting to decline. But Jason nodded to Mike to finish up. Mike left with the others, leaving behind a room full of luxury bags. Suddenly, it felt like a dream. I mumbled, Jason, do you really need to go this far for just a little assistant like me? With a raised brow and a serious voice, Jason said, if you like it, it's necessary. Holy crap, he really meant it. My heart raced like crazy. Was I getting knocked out by capitalist wealth? I pinched myself hard, almost crying from the pain, and pulled myself together. Michelle, what kind of daydream are you having? There's no way he'd treat you this well. Jason, stop messing with me. Put the stuff back. I can't keep these fancy bags here, I said, feeling a bit of heartache, saying goodbye to Hermes. But Jason just nodded in agreement. Okay, then move in with me. My place is big and secure. You can set up a room just for them. Wait, what? Did he just invite me to move in with him and all these bags? Dang it, my heart skipped a beat. Even though he's my ex-boss, and he's been a jerk before, I'm feeling something. This is ridiculous. This is what it feels like to be spoiled by a rich CEO. No, no, no. Michelle, get a grip, don't overthink it. Jason just wants to buy you off. Given his difficult personality, it's hard to find another assistant. Throwing money around like this is his way of roping you in for life. Yeah, that's gotta be it. I thought, nodding to myself. But then again, am I really going to turn down the money? If Jason's splurging like this, why am I quitting? Alright, Jason. I'll come back to work for you. Just ease up a bit, will ya? I'm a straightforward person. As long as the money's right, I'm good. As for my wife? Please, just don't call her that. I'm not cut out to be a boss's wife. Oh, right. This house is his now. So, is he staying here tonight? I'll leave. Otherwise, Jason isn't going to stick around and live with me. We finished our negotiations just as it got dark. Jason answered a call, turned around with an apologetic look on his handsome face. Honey, something came up at the company. I can't stay at home tonight. I quietly watched his act. Okay, Jason, you're really doing the full performance, huh? The finale's almost here, and you're still making sure you have a reasonable exit plan. So dedicated. So, I played along and said, don't work too hard, okay? Jason's lips curved into a satisfied smile as he ruffled my hair. You get some sleep early too. Then he put on his jacket and left. Phew. That show was finally over. I turned back to the empty house, feeling exhausted. I felt a sudden drop in my mood. Like something was missing. I didn't dwell on it much and went to bed early. Even though it took me till midnight to fall asleep, I still got up early the next day. After all, as a highly paid employee rehired by Jason, I have to work hard, right? First thing in the morning, I run into some colleagues at the company. Yeah, the ones who deleted me from everything. They insisted they had no choice. It was mainly because I bad-mouthed Jason, and he heard. I could just up and leave, but they have to stay and be all loyal. I get it now. I laughed it off and chatted happily with them for a bit. Then they exchanged looks and asked why I'm back. That's when Jason walks in, looking sharp in his suit. Same old cold expression, ice cold. I silently nodded. Finally, Jason's done acting. I mean, I'm back at the company. Why would he need to keep up the act? Even if he's addicted to drama, this is still the office. Then, as we greeted Jason with good morning echoes in the office, he just nodded coolly. When he stopped in front of me, I figured he was going to give me some work. After all, he is paying a lot, so I have to earn it. I was about to roll up my sleeves when I heard a soft, inappropriate remark. Honey, why are you here so early? Didn't get more sleep? Everyone in the room was dumbfounded. My ears buzzed. Was he crazy or something? Calling Mahoney in front of the whole company. I just stood there, frozen, smile stuck, staring at Jason. Meanwhile, my colleagues looked shocked, too. I almost slipped up and called him husband. Boss, are you joking? Did you have too much to drink last night? I tried to save face. Jason, cut it out. But Jason gave me a confused look and said, drinking? I don't drink. You said I shouldn't. I was speechless. Now my colleagues' glances were getting more and more suggestive. I rubbed my forehead, feeling dizzy. Damn you, Jason. You're really going all out to mess with me. After Jason went into the meeting room, my colleagues looked at me differently. From casual to respectful and distant. I opened my mouth, but didn't know what to say. They all just dispersed, going back to their desks. And then I heard the sound of typing and phone calls. Everyone was busy working. Not only that, but they kept glancing over at me. I understood, they thought I was the boss's wife. Which means, I wouldn't have friends at work anymore. Damn. Jason, I hate you. Wait. I get it now. Jason must be trying to isolate me, so I don't form cliques and bad-mouth him. Ruin his reputation. What a schemer. But I'm not having it. Why call Mahoney? What if he gets a real wife later, and I look like the third wheel? When the meeting was over, I was ready to have a chat with Jason. I ranted on and on. Telling him to stop calling Mahoney, or else I won't have friends. I can't survive without a social life. He can't be so selfish. Jason listened seriously, then apologized. Sorry, I didn't think it through. So, you gonna do something about it? I eyed him suspiciously. Like, explain it maybe? Jason nodded and stood up. Hang on. Then he confidently walked out of the office. I breathed a sigh of relief. He finally got it. I followed him out, worried he might miss something and cause even more misunderstanding. May as well help him clear things up. But then, just as I was right behind him, I heard him say in a deep, smooth voice, "Everyone free for lunch? The boss's wife is treating." And the whole office cheered, giving me strange looks. I was dumbfounded. Jason strolled over, smiling, and whispered, "Honey, don't be stingy with the money now, your social circle's important. Plus, your husband here will cover the bill." He said it so earnestly, his eyes genuine. I stared, from anger to confusion, then I sensed something was really off. Maybe my initial guess was all wrong. Jason wasn't trying to keep me at the office. He must be out of his mind. At lunchtime, pretending to have a stomachache, I handed my card to a colleague and stayed out of it. Then I snuck off to Jason's office. Jason was going through some files, and when he saw me, a genuine smile broke through his cool face. "Honey, why didn't you go to lunch? Want to eat with me?" There was so much love in his words, it didn't even seem fake. The more I thought Jason was off, the more off it seemed. I took a deep breath. "Jason, do you really think of me as your wife?" "Michelle, you are my wife, what are you talking about?" Jason looked genuinely puzzled. I bit my lip. "Alright, since that's the case. What's your safe's combination?" I asked. Jason's safe was right there in the office. Inside, it held the company's confidential files and some precious jewelry. Don't ask how I knew that, let's just say I accidentally saw it. Jason, a bit huffy, said, "Your birthday." Quit joking. I don't believe it. The next moment, Jason got up, took my hand, and walked me over to the safe. When I saw him start to enter the code, I quickly covered my eyes. I shouldn't see this. If it goes missing, I'd get blamed. Jason sighed softly, took my hand away, and quickly punched in the numbers. I saw it. It really was my birthday. Once the safe opened, it was full of sparkling treasures. Jason reached in with his well-defined hands and took out a gemstone necklace, ready to put it on me. I shouldn't. I stepped back. "Jason, what are you doing?" "Cheering you up. Her jewelry works magic when girls are upset," Jason said with a serious face. The gemstone necklace in his hand was catching the light, almost blinding me. Meanwhile, my heart was racing uncontrollably. With bags and jewelry like this. Honestly, I've never been cherished like this before. At that moment, I found myself hoping. Hoping Jason was okay. That he was just trying to make me happy. And I'd get to feel what it's like to be cherished. My thoughts went a little off track. Should I suggest Jason see a doctor? But how do I bring it up? Would Jason even believe he was unwell? Jason looked at me, puzzled. The jewels were still glimmering in his hands. "Honey, don't like this one?" "No problem, pick another." He turned around, thought for a moment, then just pulled me over to the safe. "Honey, choose whatever you like." Me choosing? I was afraid I'd go blind from all of this. I held back the oddly complex feelings in my heart, placed the necklace back in, and locked the safe. "Jason, don't flaunt your wealth." With that, I hurried out of the office. Oh no. At this rate, Jason will give me everything he owns. If his family finds out, they'll probably accuse me of fraud. I shook my head, thinking this was unbelievable. But at the same time, Jason, acting like a doting husband, popped into my mind. I couldn't help but laugh a bit. Whoever marries him will be truly lucky. That person probably wouldn't be me. A strange sense of loss crept in. And yet, I hoped Jason was normal at the moment. As I pondered, a figure approached. I looked up instinctively. John. I politely stepped aside. This man in front of me wasn't just the company head, but also a childhood friend of Jason's. They had a great relationship. No need to make way, I'm here for you, John said. I was taken aback for a second. Then John said he heard about me and Jason at the company. He didn't seem gossipy but looked a bit serious instead. I quickly explained the situation. John's face turned serious, and he repeatedly urged me not to mention any of this to anyone else. Also, not to tell Jason that he was here. When he saw me nod, he turned and left. Watching his back, a vague unease settled in me. Why is John so tense? Could there really be something wrong with Jason? If there is, what should I do? I spent the whole afternoon thinking about this. I felt pretty distracted. Suddenly, a cup of coffee appeared in front of me. I looked up to see Jason smiling gently at me. You've worked hard. He leaned in, his bright eyes fixed on me. His voice was warm and nice. Thanks. I chuckled awkwardly. Not quite used to this. I used to be the one fetching him coffee. Now it's the other way around, feels like a dream. I took a sip, the coffee was a little bitter. But there was a hint of sweetness in my heart. Yet, despite it not being a dream, it felt a bit surreal. I put the coffee down, looked up, and Jason was still there. He glanced at me, whispering, "Hold out your hand." I didn't get it, watching him act a bit childishly. Luckily, as the CEO's assistant, I have a private office. Or this would be a scene. Why? I asked while, as he asked, holding out my hand. In no time, a bouquet of roses lay in my palm. Their delicate red was like budding love. Like them? Just pick them, he presented proudly. My heart, just moved, paused slightly. Picked. From the company? Yep. I was speechless. Those were from the business department, they were Ken's babies. Jason thought they were company decorations, so he picked them. And gave them to me. I didn't know whether to cry or laugh. As I was leaving, I thought of apologizing to Ken. And returning the roses. Ken said, "Jason already paid me. By the way, Michelle, what other flowers do you like?" I noticed he was already Googling flower seeds on his computer screen. Looks like he made quite a bit. Before long, word spread about how much Jason spoils his wife. It wasn't long before Jason's parents came looking for me. I came up with an excuse and went downstairs to meet them. The elderly couple was distant towards me, keeping an air of class and distance. I thought they were there to pay me off. To keep me away from their son. Turns out the money was hush money. My heart skipped a beat. Could Jason really have a problem? After all, I'm kind of involved. Hiding things from me made no sense. Jason's mother decided to come clean, we heard from John, Michelle. Don't worry, Jason just has a bit of a mental condition. That's why he thinks you're his wife. So I was right. But even so, my heart sank. Is it really just a small issue? I bit my lip, unable to stop myself from asking. Actually, I noticed. When Mrs. Jason spoke, her old eyes couldn't hide her worry. I knew she was lying. But they didn't really want to tell me more. Finally, Jason swallowed his pride and pleaded with me, "Miss, we're worried that if Jason goes on like this, he might really run into trouble. Could you leave him? Maybe if you do, he'll stop living in a fantasy." Leave? Leave Jason? For a moment, I was out of it. Before I could gather my thoughts, she spoke again, "We're begging you to leave him. We won't cut you off financially. And please, keep this confidential. After all, Jason is the CEO of a public company. Rumors about mental issues could tank the stock." I looked down, feeling uncomfortable that I don't want any money. As soon as I said that, they looked disappointed. Maybe they thought I was asking for more. But I quickly added, "I'm going to leave. I don't have a huge grudge against Jason. Plus, I see myself as a pretty nice person, so of course, I want him to be healthy. But why does it feel like there's a hole inside me? Maybe I'm just bummed about losing a high-paying job. Leaving the cafe, it was still early. I knew Jason was still in meetings. I took the chance to go home and pack my things to crash at my bestie's place. Before I left, I noticed all those Hermes bags were neatly arranged in my room. I muttered to myself, "You're all gorgeous and I adore you, but you don't belong to me." When I got to my friend's house, I turned off my phone and moped around for 2 whole days. My friend asked if I was heartbroken. Honestly, how could that be? I just wanted to dodge a certain someone. Sigh. Speaking of which, he probably can't find me and has already moved on, right? Or maybe he's calling someone else wifey. I hope he doesn't get punched. My friend laughed and said, "Why didn't you punch him back then?" I was stumped, didn't know how to respond. Honestly, if it were anyone else, you would have called the cops, right? Michelle, were you into him the whole time? My BFF kept pushing. My head got all fuzzy. No way. Jason used to exploit me. My cheeky bestie knows it well. She said, "I remember when you started working, he used to give you rides home every day." Getting all nostalgic, my friend kept bringing up the past. I counted on my fingers, that was 3 years ago. Back then, I had just graduated and was broke, sharing an old, run-down place with her. The neighborhood wasn't safe, and I was scared of walking home at night, so I clocked out right at quitting time. Sometimes, Jason was still chatting with me, and I'd be itching to leave. He noticed and asked if I was in a hurry. So I had to tell him the truth. Jason immediately said he was going my way and offered me a ride home. I thought he was just being super kind. But then, once, twice, 4, 5 times, it became a habit. Every day, he'd text me to wait for him. He was busy at work and left the office late. I waited and waited, only heading home after dinner. In between, I helped with copying papers, making tea, and stuff. What do you call that? Unofficial overtime, right? But didn't you know back then there was a creep stalking girls, and I had been targeted too? If it weren't for your boss giving you rides, you would have been scared out of your mind, or worse. My friend looked me square in the eye, surprisingly serious for once. "I think you were touched and didn't even realize you were in love." I froze, my brain a foggy mess. No way. Really think about it. You're always going on about him exploiting you, so why'd you never quit? My friend had her arms crossed, grilling me like a detective. I suddenly couldn't come up with an answer. To be honest, I had chances to switch jobs over the years. So why didn't I? Was it because Jason paid so well? Well, it was alright, I guess. Could it really be that I'd been charmed by him all along? My friend left for work. I stayed home, lost in thought. Sometimes thinking about 3 years ago, other times about recent days. But whatever I pondered, Jason was the central figure. I can't help but wonder, what's Jason doing now? With that thought, I opened my phone. As soon as it powered on, there were countless missed calls and unread messages, all from Jason. The latest was from a minute ago. I went through them one by one, learning he was at my place. Besides that, he had a lot to say. "Honey, where did you go? Please don't hide from me, okay? I don't have a delusion problem, they're just trying to tear us apart. Don't listen to their nonsense, come back soon, will you?" I shook my head, feeling a pang of sadness. The person who used to be sharp and capable now didn't even realize he was sick. How did it come to this? Suddenly, I wanted to see him. But I already promised his parents I wouldn't. I bit my lip, deleted all the messages, and forced myself not to check or think about it. Before I knew it, it was noon. I changed my clothes to go downstairs for lunch. Near my friend's place, there's a food street where I've eaten often. There's this noodle shop, delicious and cheap. Perfect time for a trip down memory lane. Trying to cheer myself up with happy thoughts, I walked there alone. The sun was scorching along the way. Reaching the noodle shop, I walked in and barely caught a breath of air conditioning before stepping out again. Oh man, that silhouette was too familiar. I quietly hid by the door, peeking in. There was a tall guy in a well-tailored suit, standing at the counter. Soon, an all-too-familiar voice came, "Boss, 1 beef noodle, no scallions, plenty of cilantro, extra spicy." I flinched, almost lost balance. It was Jason. What was he doing here? Had he put a tracking chip on me? I started biting my fingers anxiously. No way, right? Then the boss's voice came, "You look familiar. Have you been here before?" "Yeah, 3 years ago with my wife. She loved your beef noodle." "I'd like some too, double the cilantro, no scallions, extra spicy." Jason's cheerful voice carried a hint of a smile. It's the first time I saw him chat that much with a stranger. Hold up. Did he say he's been here before? It was 2 years ago. I suddenly remembered, 3 years ago, on the way back from seeing a client with Jason, his car got rear-ended. Once we sorted everything out, it was about dinner time, and we were starved. Back then, this food street was kind of run down. Jason had never been here before. I was super excited to take him to my favorite spot. Silly me. I thought it would blow Jason away. But as soon as he stepped in, he hated the place. "Michelle, you actually eat here?" I awkwardly replied, "It's really good." He wrinkled his nose. "No wonder you look like you're malnourished." I struggled to hold back, "It's seriously good." He ignored me and asked, "Honestly, do they even have a health permit?" Jason kept complaining about everything. But I had already devoured a huge bowl. "I've never seen you eat like this," he said, puzzled. Huh? I was confused. Since when did he care if I could eat or not? But then I thought maybe he was just paying extra attention. I let out a burp and said directly, "Good food near the office is too pricey, and the cheap stuff is gross. I usually just get by." Translation: I can eat a lot, it's just that my daily meals suck. He didn't say much after that. Later, I didn't struggle with hunger due to my picky eating habits. Our company opened up a cafeteria. I heard the chefs were really skilled, and employee meals were super cheap. Eating became the highlight of my day. Thanks to that, I went from 85 pounds to 95. I couldn't help but wonder if Jason started the cafeteria because I was picky and hated takeout. Shaking off the thought, I told myself, "Michelle, don't flatter yourself." I glanced one last time at Jason through the doorway. His ears were turning red from the spicy food. Yet he kept eating it, just like I always did. But he doesn't even like spice. "Jason, are you love-struck because of some fantasy disorder? You know you're making it way too easy for me to fall for you. But this isn't responsible of you. Still, wish you a speedy recovery." Suddenly, my eyes felt teary. Tears dropped without me realizing it. I finally left the noodle shop. But my mind was stuck on Jason's lonely figure by the window. Thinking we're just parallel lines, it hurt a bit. I swiped across my screen, and ended up blocking Jason on everything. Finally, I collapsed on the couch. From daylight to dusk, until my phone rang again. I glanced, freezing in surprise. It was Jason's parents calling. Why would they reach out again? Was Jason in trouble? I quickly picked up. "Miss, we're sorry." I paused. Why were they apologizing out of the blue? What they said next nearly made me faint. Jason's mom tearfully said, "This afternoon, Jason tried to jump into the river." My eyes widened in disbelief. Someone as composed as Jason. How could that be possible? "Jason said he can't live without you," his mom wept, hardly able to speak. I got anxious, stammering, unable to form proper sentences. Thankfully, his dad assured me, "Jason's okay. He's been rescued, but he's locked himself up in the place you used to live. He's ignoring everything, even the company." He paused for a long while, struggling to say something. I knew what he wanted because I felt the same urge. "I'll go see him." I blurted out, then stumbled, "I'll try to help him see a doctor." I knew there was more I didn't say. What if Jason, once he's better, thinks this was all ridiculous? Worse, what if my presence embarrasses him more? Back home, my feet felt stuck. So familiar a place, yet here I was, so hesitant. Through the slightly ajar door, I saw Jason pale and empty-eyed in a corner. How did he end up like this? It tore my heart apart. Before long, he left the corner, wandering aimlessly. From his mouth movements, I could tell he was calling for me. His eyes were red as he shouted. Where's the decisive Jason I knew? Now he was like a tiny abandoned animal. It was both heartbreaking and sad. I finally pushed the door open. Jason's parents had said anyone knocking would have been let in immediately by him. Afraid to miss me. Upon seeing me, Jason's dull eyes immediately brightened, and he hugged me tightly. Where did you go? Did you leave me? His voice was hoarse, and he held me so tightly. Such a strong person, yet sounding so fragile. The words I meant to say got stuck in my throat. I gently patted his back. I was just handling something. This Jason was so easy to console, like a child. He took me inside, grabbing my suitcase from my hands. Then, he went to the kitchen and brought out a bowl of chicken soup. It was steaming hot, smelled amazing, and looked super fresh. Did you already know I'd be coming back? I couldn't help but ask. Jason's lips curled into a bitter smile. He sounded a bit annoyed. You never tell me when you're leaving, so how could I know when you'll be back? But I always think you'll come back. It's good to have a hot soup ready for you when you do, right? So you're always prepared? Isn't that a hassle? A pang of guilt hit my heart. Jason lifted his chin slightly, smiling tenderly. What's the hassle in cooking for my wife? Warmth wrapped around my heart, making it all tingly. In this moment, I couldn't bear to burst this dreamy bubble. I finished the chicken soup. He had even run me a hot bath. In the bathroom, there was a soft robe with the fresh scent of laundry. I couldn't help but laugh. How much housework had Jason done? Is he like that fairy tale snail's maid? Sitting in the bathtub, I felt an overwhelming sense of surreal happiness. But Jason would remember everything eventually. Right now, he doesn't really love me. When he remembers this in the future, will he think this is all ridiculous? Will he never want to see me again? Thinking about this, I sank below the water's surface. That night, I stayed in the bedroom. Of course, Jason also wanted to sleep with me. Fresh out of the shower, his robe was loose, showing hints of toned muscles. His handsome, willful face was ridiculously attractive. I took a deep breath to cool down. If this continued, we might really become a couple. I decided it was time to have a real talk with Jason. Maybe I'm the only one who can help him see reality. Sweet dreams are lovely, but we all must wake up eventually. For him, for me, it's the same. I organized my thoughts. Jason, we're not married. I'm single. His face tensed a bit, his deep eyes full of disbelief. But then I showed him my updated ID. I don't believe it. It's fake. Jason glanced at it, trembling all over. Do you think I'd lie to you? I bit my lip hard, breaking it. You keep calling me your wife but don't believe me at all. But you won't even admit you're my wife now. This is the truth. I shook my head, my voice lowering. Jason, you keep saying we're married. Where's the marriage certificate? The wedding? Have you met my parents? Did we ever plan a future together? Before I finished, Jason gripped his head in agony, his voice strained and painful. Stop talking. His tortured expression showed he might be waking up from his fantasy. Jason, you're sick. Please, listen to me and see a doctor, okay? I held Jason's hand, gently coaxing him. Once he's better, he probably won't need me anyway. He might not even want to see me. Jason hung his head, silent. After what felt like forever, he lifted his pitch-black eyes, full of pain, gazing at me. I could sense it. He became aware of his condition. Maybe we're really not married. Jason's eyes were hollow, still not quite convinced. You could ask your friends or mine. Marriage isn't something parents control at this age, right? Hearing this, the last glimmer of hope faded from Jason's eyes. Tears welled up in his narrow gaze. He cried. My heart ripped apart at that moment. After a long while, his hoarse voice asked, Michelle, I want to know, do you like me? My breath caught, fearfully wanting to dodge the question. Yet Jason's eyes forced me to face it. Memories strung together bit by bit. When Jason's parents urged me to leave him, it stung. Later, meeting Jason at the noodle shop, even after 3 years, he remembered what I liked. I felt touched but also sad. Touched by his thoughtfulness. Sad about his current state, his love confusing reality for me. Isn't this what liking someone is? Because I liked him, I rushed over when I heard he was suicidal. Seeing him lost and anxious, I felt heartbroken. I definitely liked him. But should I tell Jason? What if he returns to normal and doesn't feel the same for me? We'll talk about this once you're better. I bit my lip. Jason's handsome face darkened. What are you afraid of, or do you not trust me? I wanted to argue back, but really had nothing to say. I didn't want my pride to collapse into confusion. As long as I'm silent. If Jason changes after recovery, I can leave gracefully. Thinking this, I felt a bit pitiful. I let others have control over my feelings. Wife, I assure you, even if I go back to normal, I'll still love you. Jason gripped my shoulders, staring at me deeply, like a solemn, sincere vow. Right now, I believe him and I'm truly touched. But once time passes, who knows? Yet for some reason. Looking into Jason's eyes, full of love and only for me, I suddenly felt brave. Maybe Jason really does love me from the heart. Why would I hurt the person I like over uncertainties? With those thoughts, my heart seemed to open up a bit. Finally, I nodded to Jason. Wife, does that mean you trust me now? He embraced me tightly with open arms. My face flushed and my heart raced. We'll see how you behave during treatment, but stop calling me your wife. Suddenly, Jason seemed revived with hope again. Okay, wife. I'll perform well. Okay, Michelle. Jason sighed lightly, keeping me snugly in his broad arms. I just can't understand, I feel completely fine. Running to someone else's place and calling them your wife is normal. Are you someone else? Jason countered. I was speechless. This is where Jason's issue lies. Not just someone else, I'm not even his wife. If loving you is a sickness, then I'd rather have no cure. Jason tightened his hands around mine, whispering in my ear. Love? Are we talking about love already? My ears were burning, and I found myself wishing time would stop. Stop at this moment when we're first talking about love. Because I'm scared if Jason wakes from it, love will vanish. The next day, I went with Jason to the hospital. His parents had set up an appointment with the doctor. They wanted to accompany Jason too. But, because of last time, Jason politely declined and insisted only I accompany him. Even in the doctor's office. Sitting across from a professional made me nervous. Jason held my hand tightly, telling me not to be anxious. I couldn't help but mock myself. Really? Why am I nervous about a checkup that's not even for me? The doctor talked with Jason for a long time. Then they did a brain scan. It took the entire morning. Results came out in the afternoon. Jason's case is a bit unique. Besides fantasizing that you're his wife, everything else is pretty normal. This is likely atypical schizophrenia. We can start with medication and interventions. The doctor didn't look too serious as he spoke. I felt a little relieved. At that moment, Jason squeezed my hand and smiled at me. The doctor noticed and couldn't help but ask, before Jason's illness, you two were a couple, right? No. Before I could answer, the doctor continued, that's good to know. Many with delusions can't remember events during their episodes once they wake up. It felt like a thunderbolt hit me. For a second, I felt my heart being crushed. I can't imagine. Jason wakes up, cold as ever, treating me like an employee. Forgetting everything that happened in the past few days. That's scarier than him waking up and realizing he doesn't love me. Thinking about it, I began to feel faint. Jason shot the doctor a glance of annoyance, pulling me away. I won't forget you, I swear. His eyes were slightly red, watching me intently. I nodded blankly. I trust him, though nobody can control getting sick or healing. No matter what happens, I won't blame Jason. At that moment, Jason threw the medication the doctor prescribed into the river. I'm not treating this. Let it be. My heart tightened. This won't work. Jason is determined, and no one can change that. He refuses medication or therapy. He only calls me his wife, not Michelle. But from now on, I'm not indulging him. He softly clings to me, wife? Who's your wife? Who are you? I fumed, packing. He stays in his fantasy, unwilling to come out, refusing to wake up. Jason blocked me. You're leaving again? This was never my home. He held on to me, refusing to let go. I could only leave my bags behind. Jason, do you want me to call the cops? Maybe I should have called them from the beginning. He'd be getting the treatment by now. Jason's eyes turned red. Michelle, I won't call you that anymore, don't go. That's not the issue. I shook my head. Jason held onto my wrist, took a deep breath. Fine. I promise you, I'll get treated. I don't know if Jason is just being stubborn. Until the doctor calls me saying he chose electroshock therapy. That method is used for severe cases. His isn't, but it's gonna be painful. Shock therapy? If it's a shock, it'll be more than just painful. It should be very painful. Is Jason out of his mind? I rushed to the hospital the moment I hung up. Didn't expect it, but I was too late. The treatment had begun. I sat trembling, imagining the electric currents passing through Jason. I couldn't stop shaking. It's my fault. He didn't want to get treated. I should have persuaded him better. Why did I have to force it on him? As I thought, tears flooded my eyes. Luckily, a nurse comforted me, saying although it feels awful, it's safe. And for someone like Jason, the results are almost immediate. So, does this mean once he's normal, he'll forget these days? He's erasing memories right now, right? I cried harder. Not sure how long passed before the doctor let me in. I felt a bit scared. With no other family around, I had to brave up. Jason had been moved to a room. When I went in, he still had his eyes shut. His face, static, was sharp, brows slightly knit with sadness. Maybe I upset him. His lashes were long and thick, like little fans. I couldn't resist brushing a finger over them. His eyes opened. Dark as onyx. Wait. He's awake. I quickly drew back my hand, staring at him nervously. Before I could finish, Jason gazed at me softly. Assistant. My heart sunk. He was like before. Called me assistant. He was back. And he forgot about me. A surge of pain washed over me, tears threatening to spill. Then the next second, the man gripped my hand tightly. I raised my teary eyes. He smiled at me. He caught my tears as they rolled out. I watched as he leaned in. Lips brushed my ear. Wife. A deep voice, serious and clear. The end. Epilogue. I'm not sure if Jason is really all better. Or maybe he's just pretending to be normal again. This relationship still feels a bit shaky for me. Sometimes, when I look at Jason, I see a different face on him. That serious face, like my unsmiling boss. I'm really afraid one day he'll wake up and just call me his assistant. Just like that day he came to my house and suddenly called me his wife. Finally, someone gave me some peace of mind. Here's what happened. Ever since Jason's suicidal episode, his family has been totally supportive of us being together. His grandma even sent me a special gift. A video. In it, Jason stands upright in front of a Buddha, praying earnestly, my assistance away for a matchmaking event back home. If it works out, I'll lose my right-hand woman. Please make sure it doesn't succeed. The date matches up with when I took time off for my matchmaking event. No wonder. The minute I got home, I had stomach issues. Thanks a lot, Jason. I shook my head in disbelief. So childish. And just when I thought that was it, the video kept going. I had to see how much more childish Jason could get. In the video, after saying that, he was leaving, but 3 seconds later, he came back. Alright, I just lied. I just don't want to hire a new assistant. I'm picky, and she's the only one who gets me, you know? He even shot a look at the Buddha, hinting. If I were Buddha, I'd roll my eyes. Honestly. That began to tug at my heartstrings. Back when I took time off, he was still the same as ever. So to him, I was just his little assistant, his right hand, the only one who could handle him. How maddening. Jason, you're such a jerk. I'm not your nanny. Before I could process it, there he was again in the video. This time he stood there, hands at his sides, and said earnestly, Buddha, I lied again. I actually like her. I don't even know when it started. Forget it. I don't need your help, I'm going after her myself. The video ended there. My disappointed face slowly turned into a smile. I know what happened next. My matchmaking fell through, and fed up with my parents nagging, I came back early. Back home, I saw some friends who had stayed and managed to balance stable jobs and happy families. Meanwhile, under Jason's thumb, I was buried in work, not even close to dating. Every time I tried to socialize, work would get in the way. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. That's why I decisively quit. But who would have thought Jason had been thinking about me all along? I shook my head, face flushing with heat. Just then, a deep, familiar voice came from the door, honey. Jason was back. I quickly shut the video off and ran to greet him. He saw me and his eyes lit up. Did you come out just to welcome me? I nodded, pretty much. Jason tapped my nose playfully. Where's the baby? Baby. I froze before I could even respond. Baby? We don't have a baby. I stared at Jason, panicked. We don't have any kids. Heck, we don't even have a puppy. Is he having another episode? I remembered he'd been talking about having a baby the last few days. Maybe if I don't agree, he'll act out again? Jason, get it together. We need to go to the hospital. My eyes were red with worry. Jason looked at me strangely and then suddenly laughed. What's funny? Did he think I was joking? Honey, you want a baby more than I do, he chuckled quietly. He's not sick. He's faking. Just then he pulled me into a hug, burying his face into my neck. I meant you, silly. My cheeks turned pink. How old are we, calling each other baby? We're not teenagers. But hearing that made me happy inside. That you're my baby too, I whispered into his chest. At that moment, it felt like our worlds merged together. I wished it could last forever. But time keeps moving. We can only live without regrets. Tonight, Jason proposed again. I'd been reluctant before because of uncertainties. But now I'm sure. I love him, and he loves me. I've decided to marry him and spend our lives together. That night we cuddled, whispering sweet nothings. But the next day, I was floored. I woke up, and it was already 2 p.m. To top it off, my whole body felt sore. Look what you did. I threw a pillow at Jason. The jerk tried to play innocent. Honey, don't we love each other? Oh, really? Does love mean staying up all night now? Until dawn? I planned to ignore Jason for 3 whole days. No matter how many tricks he pulled, flowers, bags, even houses, I wouldn't budge. After a while, he seemed to give up, falling silent. Me, disappointing. That's all you've got? On the 3rd day, I came home from work to a dark house. Inside, I felt gloomy too. Men, geez. But then, the moment I turned on the light, I was surrounded by flowers and balloons. And there were my family and friends. Also, Jason's family and friends were there. I stood there, stunned, watching them. Jason stepped forward from the crowd. Meanwhile, his family looked at me with anticipation. My family, my parents, smiled through tears, filled with joy and reluctance. Now I get it. I wondered where Jason had been these past few days. Turns out, he went to pick up my parents. Seems like he really won them over. Before long, Jason was next to me. He knelt down and said, "Michelle, will you marry me?" Can I say no? He pulled a stunt on me. I can't let him off easy. But who am I kidding? I won't give up on him. He smiled slyly, his handsome face showing a playful grin. Worst case, I'll feign illness again. All right. He better not fake being sick again. I said yes. I put my hand into the ring he offered. From this moment on, whether in dream or reality, I'm Jason's one and only wife.